Hello, my name is Cheryl Toon, and I'm the Director of Teacher Education at Ozarka College. I'm, I want to tell you a little bit about the teacher education program that we have to offer here at Ozarka and the ASE degree that you can obtain by going through the teacher education degree track. Before we get into what we have to offer here, I want you to think for just a moment about your days in either elementary, junior high, or high school. Was there a teacher that had a significant impact on you? Perhaps there was a teacher that seemed to really connect with you, seemed to really show concern and compassion toward you as a person as well as a student. Maybe there was a teacher that inspired you to rise above a particular circumstance or situation. Maybe this teacher motivated you to dig in and become an excellent academic student. Maybe this teacher just smiled at you and was very kind and polite and made you feel better about some circumstances that were not quite so pleasant for you to endure. On the flip side of that, is there a teacher that stands out to you that was not such a positive influence in your life? Perhaps a teacher that you really wished you didn't have to be in that class? If you thought of at least one teacher on both sides of that, I'd like for you to think just a moment about what kinds of teachers do we need to place in the classroom setting of our school systems today? My goal here at Ozarka is to prepare and equip teachers to go into a classroom and be enthusiastic, motivated, compassionate, and caring toward all of their students so that we can encourage students to rise above their circumstances and become a great person in society and be able to achieve and accomplish goals. Here at Ozarka, we have several program tracks that you can choose from. We have the elementary K through 6. We have mid-level, and in the mid-level, these are grades 4 through 8. You can select a specific emphasis of studies such as history, math, English, or science. We also have secondary tracks, which encompass those same history, math, and English and science tracks, as well as business teachers, accounting teachers, and so forth. We also are able to get you on a special education track if you would like to be a special ed teacher. The hours that are required here at Ozarka in the ASE degree track plan, ASE stands for Associate of Science in Education in the teacher education program. You must complete 60 hours of study in order to obtain an ASE. After you complete your first 60 hours with us at Ozarka, you can then transfer to a 4-year institution to go into what is called stage 2 of your teacher ed prep program, and that will allow you to complete your Bachelor of Science, your BSE, in education. The BSE part of it is an additional 60 hours. The total hours required for the teacher education program are 120. So you get your first half, your first 60 here with us at Ozarka, and then you complete your latter half of it with the final 60 hours at a 4-year institution. Some students in the teacher prep program decide to go on and earn a master's degree. Most of the master's degrees require between 30 to 40 hours on a graduate level. Once you have completed your ASE, it will then be time for you to transfer to a 4-year institution. We have agreements with 4 other institutions, and we call this a 2+2 transfer option. That means You take your first 2 years with us, and if you transfer to one of these 4 institutions, they will accept every class credit you have taken with us, and you will automatically slide into their program in your final 2 years. You will not have to backtrack and make up extra classes. The 4-year institutions that we have agreements with are Arkansas Tech in Russellville, ASU Mountain Home, UCA in Conway, and UAM, the University of Arkansas, Monticello. Russellville has an online program, but they require that students only transfer into their program in the fall, and they have a set cohort group of classes that you take each fall and spring until you've completed your 2 years with them. You also are required for each one of your 5 classes each semester to go out into the school systems and do 10 hours per class of observations. So you get to do an additional 50 hours of observations in classroom settings. ASU Mountain Home has an on-campus only program, and you're required to be in class on campus to complete this program. Most of their programs, you will only be meeting 2 days a week on campus. UCA has an on-campus only program, and it's up to you and your advisor as to when you get into your classes. So they're offered at various times throughout the week on various days. The University of Arkansas Monticello is our newest agreement program, and they have a completely online program that you do not have to attend on-campus classes. They also have a program set up so that once you complete your stage 2, your final 2 years of your bachelor's program, you can then transfer into their master's program if you're interested in doing that. I want to talk for just a moment about the benefits of being a teacher. As a teacher in a classroom, no 2 days are ever the same. Something different, something unique is always happening. I was a high school teacher, and I can tell you this: every class period was never the same as the previous class period all day long. Something unique and different always transpired in each class. As a teacher, you learn as well as teach. You learn from your students as they've gone and done some research and they've brought things into the classroom to share. You learn from their insight, from how they see things. You also learn by going to your workshops, and even many teachers go back and take additional classes just to stay up to date on the latest in education. You can make a difference in a person's life, and you can see the visible results. Sometimes you can see those results immediately. It's like I had a student one year when I was teaching junior high English, and I had her all during the 7th grade year, and I had been trying to teach her the elements of grammar, and she was just really struggling. In the 8th grade year, it was the same scenario. She is still struggling, and I am still hammering grammar into her brain. About midway through the 2nd semester, she jumped up out of her seat all of a sudden and started screaming at the top of her lungs. Scared me to death, but she started screaming, "I got it, I got it, I got it." She literally finally understood the concepts of grammar and how it applies in an individual sentence. Of course, teachers all over the building came running to see what was happening. They thought something was wrong, but she was just excited because she finally understood the elements of grammar in her sentences. You can teach all over the world. I have certification in Georgia as well as Connecticut, and I have done some online teaching for those states. I have taught in the school systems in their online programs. There are programs also, I see advertisements all of the time. They are needing teachers in the United States to teach students in China English. And this is done via online. And you can just, if you have good internet and you can get on the internet and you can chat with your students online and teach them English. So you can teach all over the world from one location. You work flexible hours. You get the holidays off. Not very many occupations today have the privilege of having a Christmas break and having a spring break and having a Thanksgiving break and a summer break. You have job security. We're always going to need people in the medical field, and we're always going to need educators because people are always going to have to be going to school and getting educated and trained in areas, and teachers definitely have job security. It's also a highly social job. You get to interact on a daily basis with your students, your colleagues in the building, and you also get to interact with parents. It's more than just a job. To me, it's a way of life. It's my going to work every day to do something fun and exhilarating that I actually enjoy doing. If you're interested in the teacher education program here at Ozarka, please contact me at my office at 870-368-2037, or you can email me at cheryl.toon@ozarka.edu. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I look forward to hearing from some of you. The courses that are required to complete your ASE, of course, will be your general basics. Those are the classes such as college algebra, your fine arts, your history classes, your English classes, Comp 1 and 2, and a World Lit. Once you've completed your science classes and history and math and humanities classes, you can also begin taking your education courses here at Ozarka. We have 5 courses actually that are required on the ASE track and are very helpful to you. Introduction to Education. This is the class in which you will go out and do 30 hours of observation in a classroom or in classroom settings in a school district. In order to go into those classes to do those observations, you will have to have your FBI fingerprinting background check, your DHS child maltreatment background check. You will also have to be up to date with your shots and your TB tests. Also in that class, we go intensely through how to do lesson plans using Arkansas State standards. And then you have opportunity to go into a classroom and teach a lesson. And then you come back and meet with me and we discuss according to the teacher excellence system that's in place right now called TESS. We go over the things that you did extremely well in that lesson. And then we brainstorm some ideas and avenues of things that you can do differently the next time you teach this lesson. And this is actually something that you can keep and put it in your folder or binder to pull out when you actually do get your own classroom. We also have the Introduction to K-12 Technology. This class learns how to use technology in the modern day classroom settings of today. And you also get to do all kinds of fun projects such as making flyers, setting up blog sites, creating websites and newsletters that would go out to your parents. So lots of fun projects there. Another class is Child Growth and Learning, and within this class we learn how children grow and develop from birth to adolescence. We look at some of the struggles and difficulties that might hinder their growing and their learning capacities. And we also look at techniques that we can imply or implement that will enable these students to overcome some of their struggles and difficulties. Another class is Exceptional Child in the Classroom. Again, this starts at birth and goes all the way through adolescence. And we take a look at children who struggle with severe disabilities, as well as children who are extremely gifted. And we discuss and we look at avenues of accommodating each type of child in a classroom setting. For example, a lot of emphasis is placed on working with students and putting accommodations in place to help students who are really struggling and have learning disabilities. But sometimes the child that is extremely gifted is often overlooked. So we also have to put emphasis on creating exceptionally challenging activities, not extra work, but extra challenging activities that would cause that child who is really gifted to dig in and gain more insight than just doing the average classroom assignment that he's already bored with. The final class that we have to offer on the ASE degree track is the Core Praxis Prep class. For years, teachers moving into stage 2, which is what you will do after you graduate with us, you will move into stage 2. Students in the teacher prep program moving into stage 2 had to take the core praxis exams in writing, reading, and math, and had to score a certain score to be eligible to move into those programs. Legislature voted last year, and the 4-year institutions have pretty much agreed to go with the ACT as opposed to the core praxis exams. With the ACT, it is a lot cheaper, but it's still somewhat difficult for some of the students to pass. So we embedded a class in our teacher ed track that will help students to gain the skills and the content knowledge for passing each section of the ACT required for stage 2. And again, those areas are writing, reading, and math. We also have our specialty courses embedded. If you are a secondary degree track or a mid-level degree track student, you can take extra specialty courses, such as if your emphasis is English, then you can take some additional English classes, such as creative writing or introduction to fiction. We have some history classes. You can take additional history classes or math. So we have a wonderful degree track plan already in place for you to accomplish your ASE degree here.